everyone, today I'm in Vienna, Austria, overlooking the Danube River and looking towards the east of Vienna. That would be the downtown area on the east side, which appears to be mostly office buildings. And this bridge that I'm standing on right here is I believe the Reichstraße Bridge, and this has a pedestrian path, bike path, and up above it also has lanes for cars. And a couple interesting buildings here on the east side. The tall tower there in the center, that is the Danube Tower, and that's showing up as a approximately 900 foot tall concrete tower built in the 1960s with a observation deck near the top there. And the other large building, the one in the center, there's a PwC building. I believe that's a bank building. And now looking towards the west of Vienna, and probably about 2-3 miles from the downtown area on the west side, which appears to be where most of the tourist activity is. And my hotel isn't actually too far from here, maybe about a 5-minute walk. And there's also lots of public transportation here. I'm just gonna be walking over to a subway stop and taking the subway to the downtown area. And just a few things that kind of surprised me a little bit about Vienna are, one, it has more graffiti than I thought it would. I thought it would be a rather clean city, but I guess except for the graffiti, it's not like it's like trashed out or anything, but it's just, you see a lot more of the graffiti than I was expecting. But besides that, and there's a tourist bus over there, and there's quite a few of those out here as well. Overall though, my trip here has been pleasant so far. Maybe one other thing that's surprised me a little bit is the price of hotels are a little bit on the expensive side. I would say they average about $200-300 a night here, which is why I stayed a little bit further from the center of town. And I'm now just looking back from where I just walked from. The Danube River is about a half-mile down this street here, which is, I believe, Lasselstraße. And my hotel is just directly down this street. It's the Novotel Hotel, and it's a pretty good 3-star hotel. I would compare it to a Best Western or a Days Inn. It's a little bit cheaper, staying a little bit further out. It was only about $100 a night. And this area seems to be a mix of office buildings and retail and hotels. And you still, even in this area, you still get a lot of the graffiti, like right there across the street. I'm not sure if I could zoom into that. And but overall, except for the graffiti, it seems to be a okay area. And there's a subway stop right here, and this is the subway that I'll be taking into the downtown. And this is the Vorgartenstraße subway entrance, and the train ride into town should probably take about 10 minutes. Not too long. It's only about 3 miles. And I did purchase a 1-week subway pass, which was about $15. So that's average about maybe $2 per day. And the monitor up above says another train will be here in about 3 minutes. And I'm now just getting off the subway at Stephanplatz. And this should be the third and final escalator out of the Stephanplatz subway station. So we were down there pretty deep, probably at least 3-4 stories down. And now out of the subway and onto the plaza. And the very first landmark building is right in front of us, that very large church building, and this is listed as the St. Stephen's Cathedral, and it's showing up as a 12th century Catholic church, and it is a very, very large building to be a church. I would say that spire there, can't really see the whole thing from this angle, but let me see if I get closer to it. But that spire there's probably at least 10-12 stories tall.
You know where else is?
Very impressive building. There's a better view of it, and it looks like they do have the building open to visitors. So I'll see if I could just take a look inside here. And even the main part of the building, that could be at least, just by itself, at least 10 stories tall. And it looks like somebody out here has a bubble machine. And I'm now just walking to the front of the building. Hopefully they won't charge a fee to get inside. Let's see here. Doesn't look like it. Looks like there's just this line here, and then we're inside the building. And we're now inside of the church, the St. Stephen's Cathedral, and it is certainly a very, very massive, massive building. I really kind of wonder why they would even need a church this large, but it looks like it's still functioning as a church, and it's a Saturday, so I'm not sure if they're having Saturday service. Maybe it looks like they got a lot of candles lit. And off to the left is looks like a souvenir shop. And there's even a line to exit the building as well. And we're now exiting and back onto the courtyard area, and looks like there's just a lot of shops, retail. Also looks like there's some businesses here and hotels. This is a Hotel Stephanplatz and online that's showing up as a 5-star hotel, and the cost for tonight is $405, so it's a little bit expensive. And they also have a souvenir shop over to the right, and looks like across the street is a Bank Austria. And this building here is another hotel. This is called the Do and Company Hotel, and that is also listed as a 5-star hotel, and to stay there tonight is $320. So this area is sort of expensive. And it looks like they're having some sort of a protest here. Their sign says, "Stop negotiating with the Islamic terrorist regime." And those look like they got their Austrian flags in the background. It's not very clear what they're protesting. It's a possibility. Anyhow, continuing on. This looks to be a very touristy area. A lot of high-end shops. There's a H&M department store across the street. And this little cafe, let me see here. A chicken pesto, which is a grilled chicken with cheese and tomatoes, is $9 at this restaurant. And though it's just about dinner time, it's around 5 o'clock. Looks like most people are just having drinks. Followed by another restaurant, and it looks like people here are mostly having drinks as well. And this looks to be also seating for the Five Guys burger. And another restaurant, this is a Alms Graben restaurant. And let me see what the Alms Graben, what their menu is. A Della Casa, looks like a seafood with rice, shrimp and rice plate is $10.50. And looks like a lingerie store to the right, followed by a Swatch watch store. These look to be pretty high-end watches here, watches and jewelry. And I'm basically just going to walk to the Habsburg Palace, and it's about maybe a half a mile walk, and I'm probably about halfway there now. And this area seems to have a lot of high-end department stores, jewelry, stuff like that. Across the street is a Longchamp store, and that looks to be women's apparel, followed by a Mont Blanc, and that looks to be jewelry, watches, and looks like another older building landmark. This is listed as the St. Peter's Church, also a Catholic church built in the 18th century. And also, I think I passed another landmark. The column in the center there, that is showing up as the Trinity column. That golden statue right there, and that was built in the 17th century to commemorate the victims of the European plague. And continuing on, looks like more retail shops, a Tag Heuer watch to the right, and to the left a salamander store, which I don't really know what salamander does. Let me see. That looks to be women's apparel, purses, shoes, followed by a Todd's store, which basically looks women's handbags and shoes, followed by a jewelry store, and my phone is telling me to make a left turn here, and I could see the one part of the palace at the very end of this street here, Las Vegas or Beverly Hills. These are just high-end European clothing stores. Here's a Fendi store that looks to be women's apparel, handbags, followed by a Gucci store. And over to the right is a Tiffany & Company jeweler. Still into the high-end shopping. And I guess it would make sense, being that we're just kind of right next to this palace here. And just to give us some background on the Habsburg Palace, this is also listed as being built in the 13th century. And so a lot of stuff apparently happened here in the 13th century, the 1200s. This is like the third building that was built in the 13th century, as far as I can tell. And it was basically home to the Austrian dukes. The people that ran the country basically would live in this palace, and it's a very, very large building. This is basically just one part of the building here. It looks like this is the last of the retail for this part. Last store on the right is a Rolex watch store, and this opens up into another courtyard area. Have someone playing a violin here. And they have a whole bunch of these horse carriages out here. I would say there's at least probably close to a dozen of them. And it's interesting, the horses, they have those little things covering their ears. Let me see if I can get a better view of that. And it's not even really cold out yet, so I'm not sure why they'd have to have these earmuffs on. Maybe it's for the noise, possibly. But there's a better view of it. Those horses have their ears covered, and it's like they're just waiting for their next ride. And this would be a pretty good way to see the city from a carriage ride. And from what I've heard, it's about $50 to take a carriage ride for a half hour. I guess that's not too bad. Probably we get to see a pretty large part of the city during that time, and looks like it would be an interesting way to see the city of Vienna. And now walking through this hallway area, and it looks like they got this net set up on the top, and that's probably so if anything were to fall down from the ceiling, it won't hit the people down below. And here's another horse and another one behind them. And this is just a very, very large building. And this is just part of it here. This opens up into another courtyard area. And I would say this is probably just maybe 25% of this palace building here. The main courtyard is directly ahead, and it looks like they got this ladder set up over here off to the left. There's someone up there doing some roof work. I'm not sure what they have for roofing, if that's tile, but it does look pretty old, being that the building's about 800 years old. And just a massive building. Must be at least 100 rooms, probably more. I'm not really sure who would live here besides the Dukes. I guess maybe the Duke's family. They do give tours of this building, and I'll have to wasn't able to find out very much online, just to doing a quick search, but it might be just one of those things where it's just easier just to walk in and ask somebody. It looks like they're doing some more construction on this part of the palace, and then this opens up into a larger courtyard area. They got a grass area out here, and get a better view of the entire building. Let me see, just walk over here to the center so I can get a better view of everything. And my map is showing that this is the main entrance part right here to the Habsburg Palace, and it just stretches all the way back to the next street over there. And a very, very large building. And I'm just gonna see about the tours. Oh, there's an interesting little car. And I just asked a clerk inside the building, and apparently that's a different museum area, that area that I was just in. And there's another area if you want to take a tour of the palace. And she did not know the cost of the tickets, but that museum was $5. So it looks like they have several different museums inside this palace. And you see, I get a better view here of the what I thought was the main entrance. It sure looks very impressive. And I found this supermarket here, a Villa Corso market, and just going to a quick check of the food prices. And here's the fruit section. Grapes are $2 per pound. Oranges are $1.50 per pound. And looks like a head of lettuce is $1.50. And a pack of corn is $3, so that's about $1 per ear. And this market reminds me of Whole Foods in like New York. It's multi-level, so we got to go up to the next level here. And so far those prices were pretty reasonable. Quite a bit of exercise just going up and down these stairs. And this is the next level. Here's the bread. Loaf of bread is $3. That's kind of expensive. Maybe it's a really good loaf. And this is the milk section. And it looks like they're selling milk by the liter, which is $1.50 per liter. And a dozen eggs are $3. And this looks to be the beverage section. Here's some sweets. Häagen-Dazs ice cream, $6 for a pint. And a lot of chocolates. One of these chocolate bars is $2.50. And I'm now walking up to the third level, to the meat section. Here's the meats. And it looks like they have a lot of tuna, salmon. Is that $6? The thing is though, they're selling, looks like they're selling those meats per 100 grams. So 100 grams is about a quarter of a pound. So that would be that salmon would be $24 per pound. That's pretty expensive. And this is probably one of the more expensive stores I've been in. Small pack of cheese, $2.50. That's about like 5 or 6 slices of cheese. And let's see here if I can find the meats and steaks. A whole chicken is $17. And I just finished my shopping, and I checked the meat section, and what looked like sirloin steak was about $17 per pound. So this store is certainly more expensive than most of the other supermarkets that I've been to in Vienna. I would say the meat prices at most other stores, $17 for steak and $24 per pound for salmon. Most of them are less than half of that. So it could be just the location being that touristy area.